Okay, everyone, welcome back to a really, really exciting episode of The Book Boat. I'm one of your hosts, Jocelyn.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alejandra, and like Jocelyn said, this is a very, very exciting episode. I've just been so excited since we kind of planned this out. But we actually have two very special guests with us, I'm just gonna let them introduce themselves.
I'm Ollie.
And I'm Chris, and we are the author of, we'll use this one, My Tiny Temper.
Welcome to the book boat. I am so excited. This is our first author guest, and we are so lucky to have both of you here with us.
Yes, honestly, we feel so honored. This book is amazing. And as you listen to this podcast, you'll hear like the inspiration behind all of this. And if you're watching the YouTube video, you'll see like the smiles on everyone's faces. This is a very exciting podcast for us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess we can give a little story of kind of how it happened, I think. So like we said, we interact a lot on Instagram. And one of our professors from San Jose State kind of reached out to me and she shared this book with me and she's like, hey, I found this book. I think you should try to talk to the authors and see if maybe they'll want to come on. And I think in that moment I was like, oh, like I don't know if people are gonna want to come on with us, but I was like, you know what? Let me just ask. It doesn't hurt. I messaged them and they replied right away, and I was so excited. And then I like stopped everything and I texted Jocelyn. She's like, "I know, I saw it." It was so exciting, and I think it just happened so kind of. I don't want to say spur of the moment, but I think I didn't expect it to happen, so I was just really excited that it kind of all worked out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
no,
you for having us too.
yeah, like we both share the Instagram account, but she does most of the interacting with it. And I got the message and I was like, oh my God, actually someone said yes. And so we were just really excited about that, because this is like instantly when the book was recommended to us, we're like, we love this book. We like have notes written on it, and we just hope that everyone just falls in love with it as much as we have. So let's just go ahead and get started with some of our questions. Usually throughout our podcast, we have three ending questions. It's who writes the book, who who who's
Benefits.
who benefits, and who's missing from the story. So we've kind of changed it up a little bit because we do have the authors of the book. So we're going to kind of start with what was the writing process for this book?
Yeah.
Oh wait, actually, first, do you mind
Oh,
if we like let the? Do you guys want to tell us a little bit about the book before? I feel like we've kind of just alluded to the book, and I think we
Oh, yeah.
should share a little bit about the book itself.
yes.
Yeah. So, My Tiny Temper is a book that follows a child's day as he struggles with his task and deals with big emotions. And his emotions come out in the form of a little temper. And this was inspired, of course, by my son, Oliver, who, he's working remotely now. And we spend a lot of time together. So as our day develops, we have to kind of go back and forth with his growing emotions and just getting tasks done so that he can do good in school and also have his playtime as well.
And also the the re- the so what you learn in this book is get all your work done so you can have a treat like a donut.
Oh yeah. Yesterday was his birthday actually, so
Well,
yeah.
happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday!
This is
So he's had
exciting.
he's had a lot of donuts, so he might be a little antsy.
No, we love it.
But it's today's
Yes, he's
too.
had two donuts. His birthday's kind of like um expanded onto the weekend, so he's having a ball right now.
Oh,
Those are the best type of
definitely. Yeah.
birthdays. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and sometimes it gets switched back to Thursday. So
Yeah.
then I have movie night Friday. I have birthday on Thursday, movie night on Friday, a Saturday and Sunday.
There you
Then
go.
goes
Big
back.
weekend.
Yeah, it got a 4-time
Oh,
weekend.
4 times.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm
I
gonna have to
love
have you
that.
plan my birthday.
Yes. um
um,
s- yeah,
yeah,
no.
Joss.
So how was this writing process? Like we always talk about like, oh, if we wrote a book, like this is what we would include in it.
Uh,
But to actually have like an author on here, like what was that writing process like?
yeah, so I mean, it was because traditionally I'm a animator, so most of my days spent drawing, doodling, and I grew up on children's books. It's actually what kind of inspired me to go into an art career. So the writing part was probably the hardest, even though I kind of I kind of tease Ollie, and like I'll rhyme to him and kind of rap with him a little bit. So the rhyming scheme was probably the most important part for me. I prefer books that rhyme. I just enjoy them so much. I was just like, oh, that just is like a rhythm to it, and it kind of carries you through the story. So the writing part was definitely the most difficult. It kind of started again with just the concept, and kind of just build it piece by piece, and kind of like make sure that you get a complete story, a beginning, middle, end, and make sure that you kind of hit those beats. It's kind of like making music. Like you kind of have to get the cymbals and like the bass kind of going, and then like it comes together. Wow.
That's absolutely amazing. I know as a teacher, like anytime a book rhymes, the students are like, it rhymes, and they get really excited about that. So I was reading it and I can just think like my students being like, this is so cool. Like they'll notice like the rhyming pattern themselves. So well done with that, because I can't even find words to rhyme anyway, like most of my life. Like if I was to write a rhyming book, it would not do well.
I know a lot of them.
Yeah, it was funny when I completed the script. Like we spent the whole day just trying to see if we could like rhyme our words. So we just spent the whole day just like rhyming with each other, and it got a little out of hand, but we had a lot of fun.
And then you made the book out of rhymes.
Yes, I did.
I love it. It sounds like it was such a bonding experience for the both of you as well.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, he gets to see like himself in the book, and see his tiny temper actually take form. So I feel like that's something that kids will enjoy. Kind of like you don't want to like accuse them of like having tempers and stuff like that. The character kind of lets them disassociate and just be like, yeah, this is how I feel. This kind of is a great example of what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, going back to Oliver seeing yourself in a book, we usually highlight books where we're trying to highlight where more like children can see themselves in a book. So we always pick like different unique books and all that. So how does it actually feel to have a book where it's you and you can show that off to people?
I like it.
What do you think about the character? Does he remind you of yourself a lot?
Yes, I know.
What things in particular do remind you of? Like
I'm based on the book, and this is my partner, the temper.
What about like when Daddy asks you to brush your teeth in the morning? Is that accurate?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and just with like, how long did it take from start to finish? Would you say like?
I mean, when the idea kind of sprouted, it almost felt like, like a spark. Like I knew, like it kind of just developed all in my head. As soon as like I saw it, I was like, oh, my tiny temper. First I thought my tiny temper, and then I was like, that has to exist. Like that is just way too like simple and easy. And then I looked it up, and I was like, okay, there's no my tiny tempers out there, which is crazy. So this is wonderful. So
the first one alive.
Yeah, the first my tiny temper. So
the first tiny temper in Jurassic Tiny Temper.
Yes, in all of time, Jurassic, all the times. Yes, so then I just got to write, because again, writing was the most difficult part for me. Like I knew like if I got the script down, then I can just illustrate the scene piece by piece. So yeah, it started like maybe early January, and like it was just like 30 days of like grinding. Yeah. So like yeah, about like 30 days. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
I mean,
absolutely amazing.
I would assume that that's really quick, but I just like the idea was just in there. So I just like like pushed it out basically. Yeah.
That's awesome. And we actually also found the Kickstarter. If you want to explain that a little bit more,
Oh yeah,
I saw there is. Yeah, I was just really excited and I loved the videos. So if you
thank
want to tell
you.
us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we put the paperback out on Amazon, and then we were I mean, for us, and I understand for a lot of like parents and educators, having the hardcover is such, it's more durable. So we were looking for a like on-demand service that would, cater to our story and our size, and we just didn't find one. So we figured, hey, we might as well just find a printer and do it ourselves. So that's when the Kickstarter idea came, and we were just like, all right, let's just throw it out there on Kickstarter, and kind of like also like a proof of concept to see like, okay, will this, will people like the idea? And in the beginning we did get some good feedback on the book on Amazon, but it's very, it trickles in, like it wasn't as like quickly as I thought Kickstarter would kind of broadcast the book out. So we put it up on Kickstarter, and also my wife has some mom groups that she's in, so she shared it with them, and they were all like, this is amazing, like we love it. Just yeah, positivity, which was like so awesome and so amazing. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it
that's
just,
awesome.
and like under, so actually we kickstarted it on my birthday. My birthday is 10 days before his. So we were just like, I'll kickstart on my birthday. This will be like a little gift for myself. And like in under like 12 hours, I think it was like 10 maybe, we got backed, which
His
was really
birthday
cool.
was on February 16th.
That's right, February 16th. So yeah, it was just amazing. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw in your most recent update that you were able to actually translate it in Spanish, which is very
Yes.
exciting because
Yeah.
I'm a bilingual teacher, and it's so hard to find books in Spanish. So whenever I find one, I'm like, oh, it's like a pot of gold. So I
Yeah.
was very, very excited to see that it was in Spanish.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like for us, it's like I definitely want to get the book out there in every language so that, so that we can just share our story. And I think it's important for it to be in the native tongue so that people can enjoy it, as is.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Um, Alejandra always like is giving like me book recommendations. I'm not a bilingual teacher, but I always like knowing which books do come in other languages. Especially I do have a lot of like English language learners in my class, and so it's always good to like be able to pass down a book and be like, hey, like this is the same book we're reading in class. Like here it is in Spanish. Like follow along, and yeah, and it's great. I do have a couple questions here. So one thing that Alejandra and I have just like really enjoyed about this book is that um, we always feel like this, just so many good points, but like we get really excited. But there's like this, we almost think that there's almost like a stigma with like male characters never really like confronting their feelings. And
Mhm.
so we think that this is amazing that this is like a male character who is
Mhm.
talking about his feelings. And how does that feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like my tiny temper was also, I was actually talking to a friend of mine yesterday. It's also kind of for the parents. Like, we're both home, we're both trying to work, we're both trying to get our day started. Except, my tiny temper has been with me for like, 30 plus years. And like, I know how to manage my guy. So it's kind of like, we both have these emotions that we're dealing with that we have to kind of confront. So, it helps me too. I get to say like, you know, I don't want to get frustrated with you playing, but you have to do your work. So it's kind of like, we get to have these like talks and conversations
The
about,
parents will learn how to deal with their tiny temper.
that's right. Parents
Yeah.
learn how to deal with their tiny tempers. And I think communication is key too. Like, we don't want to like leave anything buried or anything like that. We want to have communication, especially with, for my son, I feel like it's very important that he actually gets to say how he feels, and, and to speak up, because, otherwise, I don't want him to feel like he can't trust me, or he can't come to me with any information or how he feels.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
And it actually made me think of one of my students as well, who I know when he was younger, he had a hard time kind of with emotions and being able to talk through them. So I think this would be a great book for me to share with him, and kind of just that it's okay that we can talk about it. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then you being the illustrator, so we love always showing off these
Mhm.
amazing illustrations. And just like the way that like you color coordinate everything. And like even we noticed that like the tiny temper like has his own like color
Yeah.
pattern, like being the red, like the orange kind of like sometimes red. How did that you get that inspiration for that?
So for the colors, I definitely wanted like characters to just be one. I think one inspiration was uh, Disney Pixar's Inside Out, like how they color coordinated the characters, and I instantly thought that's a great way to kind of send a message to like designate which character is who, kind of like
Mhm.
how the mom is like purple, the dad is well, the mom is like a hot pink, the dad is kind of blue, and Bubby's kind of purple, so he's like both the parents together.
Like Mickey.
Mickey from
I forget what his name is. But Mickey has all sorts of colors.
Yeah, and like I think the color is important for the tiny temper, because he starts out, kind of like a kind of gray, kind of cloudy kind of character, and then as he grows and gets madder, his little fur orange hairs like starts to expand. So it kind of it visually shows you that he's getting some kind of physical change, and his anger is actually building up. So yeah, it was very
Like-
important for that, I think.
Like when and birds grow their feathers, because when birds are babies they have literally no hair.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And like
Yeah.
penguins, they start off gray and then they turn into like the big black and white suits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Uh-huh. He is an animal expert. He has tons of books on animals.
And I also know about hybrid animals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wow, look at that. I love that. You're going to be teaching the teachers about animals
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah, you can go into it.
You can go into it so far.
Oh, that's great. So then when you were writing the story, do you think there was anything that was missing from it or that you wish you would have added now looking back?
Who do we have missing from the book? Who did you say was missing from the book the other day? Who's that?
Wait, where is the
It's our
ball?
dog Bolt. He was in
Aw.
he was actually in we had got him in September, so he was a puppy and we were like still training him. So that definitely slipped my mind as someone who was missing from the book. Just to have like, that animal companion. But I figured he had the tiny temper, so I didn't want to mix messages with the idea of who his companion is in this story.
Wait, I have an idea for the book.
What's that? Yes, we could have did that, but I think we wanted to keep Bolt out of this one just for this version. Silly.
So go for it, Alejandra.
We were just curious if you have any plans of making this kind of into a series, or if you plan on doing any other books kind of in this style, or I mean any style at all.
Yeah. So yeah, this is again, this is my first published book, so I'm a super newbie to the whole children's book world. I started looking into like Facebook groups and like really seeing the community, and it's huge. There's so many children's books out there, all with their own concepts and ideas. I mean, for me, I definitely would like to continue doing books on children's emotions, and maybe a series of, where maybe his tiny temper meets my tiny temper, like the parents' tiny temper. I think that could be an interesting concept.
Series 2.
Yeah, for a potential series. But definitely, yeah. I mean, I've dipped my foot in, but I think I'll be doing a full dive soon. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Next, I'm gonna call it the Big Tiny Temper.
Wow.
Oh.
Very good.
Yeah, especially with not a lot of books with like dealing with children's emotions. I think this is like a great like like a great place for it, like a great place for it, and just in general just an amazing book to start really introducing kids to being okay talking about how they're feeling and understanding that hey, sometimes we do have tempers and they sometimes get a little out of control and we can't help it. Even me, like I have food, I like to call mine fooditude whenever I'm hungry. So that is my tiny temper, and when I'm hungry I definitely do it expresses itself very well. So just being like aware of that, and I think that just kids being more in touch with their feelings will have like this long lasting impact of like adults who then will be more comfortable expressing their needs and more comfortable in a world or being like, hey, that's not fair, or hey, I'm not feeling comfortable in this situation. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
it'll go towards also a lot of education I've seen now is focused on communicating and not just, you did this wrong, this and that, but like really talking to them. So I think these books would be really great tools in the classroom to, get that process started.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely would love. I mean, definitely the first goal is to just get Tiny Temper out there, and just get into schools. And I've heard from a lot of educators that this is perfect for students to talk about their emotions, and there just aren't a lot of books about children's emotions out there. So I'm glad I'm kind of filling that void for teachers and educators. And I mean, again, with just the current state of education and a lot of students working from home, and it's just it's been disruptive. So I think this gives them a good way to kind of translate their feelings and really like put kind of words to what they're how they're feeling.
I feel like the next book should be called Drama Tiny Temper.
He's definitely a part of the title team. So we're figuring out like new titles and new concepts. So this is my captain right here.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that he's already thinking like next book, like we're going
Yeah.
for
Oh
it.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
He's
yeah.
ready.
Yeah, this guy's a worker, man. He makes concepts. He's doing a lot of stuff. Yeah.
I act.
He does some acting. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
wow, just
Well,
all the trades.
Have you
some
been able to
acting.
share this book with your class?
We actually do have a plan on reading to his class next week, so
Oh,
that should be fun.
awesome.
But he's done some readings, right? You've done some readings for children already? What grade were they in?
First grade.
They were in first grade. Yeah. You liked
That's
it?
exciting.
Yeah.
I liked it more than you think I should.
Okay. That's good. That's good. No.
That's amazing. You got to be in the chair and actually read the book like the teacher, so that probably felt
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, he read the whole book, so that was fun. I also like wanted to, because I feel like you as a parent you read all this context about like children and vocabulary. So the more words that they have, the better they are at communicating. So I didn't want to shy away from like using begrudgingly or compromise, and hearing him read it and just like executing it, I was just like, that's amazing.
This is why we read
There it is. He
words.
found it begrudgingly. Yeah. So it's very fun. I think I love it. I love that he likes it. And yeah. And like all the little details, like even with the, like sometimes we would have children's books where, you have the picture page and then you have the page with the text. And I've felt like, everything needs to have some kind of illustration on it so that you can look and see like, how does this pertain to the story? So like doing a little map of like how he gets to the kitchen. So like it gives you like these little kind of captions of the story that that just feeds you a little bit of, oh, he's like, oh, he made a map to get there. So there's a little bit more to the story than just
and then
him.
I tiptoe to get a sugary popsicle.
That's right. So there's there's little things there that you guys can see and enjoy.
Now what's next? Parents getting donuts.
Yeah, a bunch of ideas.
This is based on my life experience.
We love that.
And for a sugary snack, and there's no sugary snacks. Where have they gone? And then we find them, and then the donut crumbs lead to my dad's chair. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, I can see he still is on the donut kick right now.
Oh yeah, I'm a donut kick. You're right, man.
No, no, I'm gonna be getting a donut after this now because it sounds so good. So thank you for inspiring me. But yeah, just all the little details. I also do love this play on words when you say like your tiny temper sprouts 2 feet,
Right,
but then
yeah.
you measure 2 feet.
Yeah.
Such a good play on words there.
Thank you. Yeah. I actually when I was writing it, I was just like, all right, should I show them, should I like show him like up against like, you know, how usually parents have like that wall where they kind of cross up like how tall a child gets. And I was like, oh, maybe that, maybe not. And then I figured that would be a good way to kind of do for the writing pages like an illustration just to juxtapose, you know, the image of them brushing their teeth, so I can have both ideas at the same time, just to have fun with that.
I'm
So
already really tall.
yeah, you're, how tall are you right now?
50 inches?
Yeah, 50 inches. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow.
51, because my mom tested me a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is pretty tall.
Almost in 3rd grade. Da, 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 3rd grade. Da, da, da.
Third grade's a fun year. I think you'll actually really
Yes.
like that grade.
I mean, I might be biased, but yes, I think 3rd grade's the best grade.
Oops.
Now, is there anything else you want our listeners to know about this book or anything about yourselves or?
Just that, you know, Tiny Temper's out right now. My Tiny Temper is out right now on Amazon. We're still. Yeah, you can have some gum after. Or yeah, you can do it. Yeah. My Tiny Temper is out on Amazon right now, and our Kickstarter is still going on till March 16th. After that, we should have the hardcover available on our website at mytinytemper.com. But yeah, you can get My Tiny Temper on Amazon right now, paperback. And yeah, we're really excited. We hope you guys, you know, hope parents and educators share more. And yeah, and we love it. We love that you guys enjoy it as well.
Yes, thank you so much for being on our podcast. Like, this is amazing. We love this book. We're definitely pushing it out to all our friends as well. Parents, teachers, just being like, you should buy this book. It's definitely
Yes.
a must-have.
And then should we do our challenge question, Jocelyn?
Oh, yes. So we always kind of end our podcast with a little bit of like a challenge and a question, but we
Mhm.
decided to kind of combine both. And this one is kind of, Alejandro, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. So like I said, I've reread this book a few times now, and I feel like every time I read it, I kind of get something else from it. And this last time I read it, I kind of put myself in, I guess, well, I am the adult, where I was like, wow, we're like putting a lot on students right now, and there's kind of a lot going on, and I think sometimes we forget to check how they're doing emotionally. So my like challenge and question is, how are teachers or parents checking in on their students, how they're doing emotionally? Like, what are some of the ways you can check in? I know I've seen in the past when we were in the classroom, teachers would have like a big poster board, and they would put a sticky note kind of like where they were feeling, like if they were happy, sad, confused, frustrated. But now that a lot of us are still on Zoom, like, how are we checking in? Because I think not that like there's a lot going on, you know, they have a lot of assignments they have to do and still, you know, do things at the house, I'm sure. So I could see how their little tiny tempers can start to grow and grow. So what are ways that, you know, we can do to check in and make sure that we help them out as well?
Yeah.
The tiny temper's growing.
Yeah, I want to make sure it doesn't get too big.
Is that question
Um,
for us or for the
oh
audience?
no,
The audience.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I think this is gonna wrap up our episode, and we were super excited to have both of you on. And like they said, go and check this book out, My Tiny Temper. It is
Thank you so much
amazing.
for having us.
Yeah, and we are so excited. I'm very excited to see the Spanish version, and of course, hopefully get the hardcover soon. Jocelyn, do you have any parting words before we wrap it up?
No, just that. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. And you guys have been amazing. And we are just so honored that you chose us to come and explain your book too. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
So here I go with my lovely outro. Please subscribe to our podcast. We are on most major podcast platforms, Google, Spotify, Apple. Give us a rating. 5 stars would be amazing. And leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you thought about this episode and all the other episodes we have done. Follow our YouTube. Like we mentioned, we recorded the Zoom. So if you would like to see our 2 amazing guests, please check it out at the Book Boat on YouTube, and follow our Instagram at _bookboat, and give us a like on Facebook, again at the Book Boat. And I think that'll be a wrap.
Bye.
Yes.